Good evening. Welcome to the Cabinet meeting Thursday the 9th of November tonight. I am Councillor Jonathan Bianco for the benefit of those watching on screen. I'm the Vice Chairman of Cabinet, but I'm the Chairman of this meeting as the leader is absent. So apologies for absence.
Thank you, Chairman. Councillor Ian Edwards has sent his apologies.
Thank you. Declaration of interest in matters before this meeting. Are there any? None? Thank you. To approve the minutes of the last Cabinet meeting, pages 1 to 18. Are they agreed? Agreed. Thank you. Item 4, to confirm the items of business marked in Part 1 and Part 2. Part 1 to be considered in public, Part 2 to be considered in private, and I would draw your attention to Cabinet document B, which is an extra urgent Part 2 item. Is that agreed? Good, thank you. And that takes us, therefore, to agenda item 5, review by the Children, Family and Education Select Committee, the Stronger Families Hub, our engagement with key stakeholders, exploring participation and feedback to improve services and satisfaction. Councillor Macquarie, I see you are here. Would you please come and speak to us?
Good evening, thank you. On behalf of the Children, Families and Education Select Committee, I'm pleased to present our review into the Stronger Families Hub. Launched on 3rd of August 2021, the Stronger Families Hub is a 24/7 service available to families and professionals in Hillingdon, providing a single point of contact for a wide range of support services. In order to support the Hub, as a first of its kind 24/7 service, the committee chose as its major review topic to look at how the Hub had been functioning in practice and how it could be improved. To do this, the committee held a substantial number of witness sessions with key stakeholders, including young people and their parents or carers, officers, health and educational representatives. The committee found that the Stronger Families Hub was providing a good service to children and families in Hillingdon, and that service users were happy with the support and advice that they received. Through our witness sessions and other evidence received, the committee uncovered some areas for further development or monitoring. These centred around awareness, accessibility and capacity. Throughout the review, the committee was mindful of the need to find cost-effective, workable solutions, and the recommendations in this report are endorsed as effective actions to improve the already good service of the Hub going forward. Therefore, the committee is presenting 7 recommendations to Cabinet, which we believe will help our young people and their families to feel empowered regardless of their circumstances. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the officers and the many witnesses who gave up their time to help the committee in reviewing this topic, and to commend officers for their continued hard work to support our residents. Thank you.
Councillor Macquarie, thank you very much for your presentation, and please thank the committee for their hard work. Councillor O'Brien.
Thank you, Deputy Leader and Mr Chair, and thank you very much for allowing me to further move forward with agenda item 5, the review by Children, Families and Education Select Committee on the Stronger Families Hub. I would like to thank Councillor Macquarie and her Select Committee for Children's, Families and Education for their robust investigation into reviewing this relatively new service that has been in place, as Councillor Macquarie has just said, for just over 2 years, and for their comprehensive report. The increase in demand has proven how successful the service has been in itself, whether that is from the legacy of COVID or the global events that have followed on from 20 and into 2022-2023. With hindsight, the Stronger Families Hub inception came at the right time. And I thank the senior management team in Children's Services for their forethought and turning the concept into a working, targeted service. As Councillor McQuarrie said, the witness sessions took place over 6 events, and we heard from parents, young people, providers and partners within our health and education services. Thoroughly checked over by all of our stakeholders and partnership workers. Demand and capacity review is currently underway to consider any further extension to the front door services and how the service stays current to the needs of our residents. The recommendations are on page 20 of the report. I'm not going to go through them all. It's got quite a long list. But under those circumstances, I therefore move.
The recommendations, as said, are on page 20, numbers 1 to 7. Are they agreed? Agreed.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor McQuarrie. Agenda item 6, review by the Resident Services Select Committee, alley gating in Hillingdon. I see we have Councillor Bridges with us. Councillor Bridges, would you please step forward and give us your report?
Thank you, Councillor Bianco, and good evening, Cabinet. Hillingdon Council's Chrysalis Community Safety Private Alley Gating Scheme, established around 17 years ago, aids residents in securing their privately owned alleyways against intrusion by installing lockable gates. These gates significantly enhance the quality of life for residents and businesses. Not only can the gates reduce the likelihood of burglars gaining access to the rear properties, but they can also protect the alleyways from fly tipping and other forms of antisocial behaviour. As the scheme had not been reviewed in recent years and to support the work of the Council's Community Safety Department, in October 2022 the Resident Services Select Committee elected to undertake a major review of the Council's current alley gating scheme. The aim was to suggest ways in which the scheme could potentially be improved to better meet the needs of Hillingdon residents. As the review progressed, the committee heard from various stakeholders, including the Council's Community Safety and Antisocial Behaviour Officers, the police and representatives of Hillingdon Council. And the Select Committee also received invaluable direct feedback from residents, which helped inform the proposed recommendations to Cabinet. Throughout the review, the committee was mindful of the need to find cost-effective, workable solutions. The recommendations in this report are endorsed as prudent, effective actions to support the Cabinet and Council in strengthening and improving communications regarding the current alley gating scheme to better assist residents in the borough. The recommendations also aim to increase awareness of the alley gating scheme and the services available to residents. Finally, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank those officers and volunteers who have given their time to assist the committee in reviewing this topic, and I commend this review to the decision-making Cabinet.
Thank you, Councillor Bridges, and thank you too for your introduction, and please take our thanks back to the members of your committee. Councillor Lavery.
Thank you, Deputy Leader, and thank you, Councillor Bridges, for your report. This is a thorough piece of work by the Select Committee into a long-standing service, which, as you say, hadn't been reviewed for a number of years. I know the work was very thoroughly conducted. In fact, I was actually at one of the sessions where this was an item, because I was there to present on another item. There are 4 recommendations that have been put forward in terms of improving scheme awareness and ASB, and I fully endorse those and would ask the Cabinet to accept those. They're detailed on page 26 of the Cabinet paper.
Thank you, Councillor Lavery. The recommendations, as mentioned, are on page 26. All 4 of them. Are those agreed? Agreed. Thank you. Agenda item 7, London Borough of Hillingdon Smoke Control Order. Councillor Lavery.
Thank you, Deputy Leader. The Environment Act of 2021 gave councils new powers to enact smoke control orders to include all waterways. This report sets out proposals for implementing one unified smoke control order covering the whole of the London Borough of Hillingdon. The current arrangements are that there are various historic orders which cover some parts of the borough, don't cover others, refer to names and places that we may not currently recognise. This will have the effect of consolidating everything into one new order which will apply across the whole of the borough. and I therefore move the recommendations on page 52, which revoke all previous versions of the smoke control orders and approve the new order for the whole of the borough, including waterways.
Thank you, Councillor Lavery. The two recommendations as stated are on page 52. Are they agreed? Agreed. Thank you. Agenda item 8, the 2023-24 Better Care Fund, Section 75 Agreement. Councillor Palmer.
Thank you, Deputy Leader. The Council and the Integrated Care Board are required to enter into an agreement under Section 75 of the National Health Service Act 2006. The Better Care Fund is how money from the Council and North West London Integrated Care Board pool budgets to allow us to work together to improve care outcomes for residents and help them stay healthy and independent. I'm asking for the Cabinet to agree into agreement with the North West London Integrated Care Board under Section 75 with provision to extend for a further 12 months as per recommendations. The recommended total amount is 96,535k, made up of council contributions of 66,876k and the Integrated Care Board contribution of 29,659k. The lateness of asking for Cabinet approval here is a direct result of the Department of Health and Social Care's timetable, not anything to do with the Council or officers. There's nothing that they have any control over. So I would be asking Cabinet to move the recommendations. Thank you, Deputy Leader.
Thank you, Councillor Palmer. Well, as you can see from this report, the amounts of money being invested are significant, and our impact into this section, this area, are to be noted. The three recommendations are on page 70. Are they agreed?
Thank you, Deputy Leader. I'd like to propose agenda item 9. The recommendations are set out on page 80 to agree licence deficits for the following schools: Bishop Winnington Ingram and Holy Trinity Church of England Primary Schools, St Swithin Wells and St Bernadette's Catholic Primary Schools, and Oakwood School, which is a secondary school within the borough. This year has seen an increase from 3 to 5 schools posting a deficit in 23-24. Maintained schools have an annual duty to provide a balanced budget to their school's governing body. In exceptional circumstances whereby a governing body has explored all alternatives, a school may end up in a position with a deficit budget. At this point, the school, with the agreement of their governors, are required to notify the local authority to request to set a licence deficit budget for a specific period of time. Usually this is for 1 year. The licence enables schools to function and reposition themselves for the future. The council's school finance officers and education advisors will continue to meet with all of the schools that are listed here, and head teachers with their chair of governors and their business managers to look at the monitoring, supporting, reviewing and working on financial plans to see where improvements can be made. However, this is on a backdrop whereby it is evident that some schools are finding it increasingly difficult to achieve a balanced budget. This may be due to undersubscription of pupil numbers and a reduction in pupil place funding, or a school may require guidance on rebalancing its expenditure to get back to a balanced position. The deficits come out of an already stretched dedicated schools grant, and although it has no bearing on the Council's general fund, the Council will have to advance the funding before it receives its grant from central government from the Department for Education in the next tranche. The full report is on page 79 to 84, and I therefore move.
Thank you, Councillor O'Brien. The 5 recommendations are at the top of page 80. Are they agreed? Agreed. Agenda item 10, Council Budget 2023-24, Revenue and Capital, Month 6 Budgeting Monitoring. Councillor Goddard.
Thank you, Councillor Bianco. This report is set out on pages 85 to 116 and deals with the Council's projected results for the financial year to the 31st of March 2024, as they stood at the 30th of September 2023. In other words, that is month 6 of the current financial year. As previously reported, the financial environment for local authorities nationally continues to be one of tough challenges. Flat levels of central government funding, contrasting with legacy inflation and increasing demand for key statutory services, lies at the heart of these difficulties. May I remind colleagues that particular areas of pressure for us here in Hillingdon are in respect of homelessness, which of course is exacerbated by asylum seekers who arrive at Heathrow, and both adult and children's social care, where increased demand for residential care is evident. We're also now seeing upwards pressure on our energy costs as a result of the war in the Middle East. Hillingdon's response to the financial challenges faced is realistic and robust. We manage our costs by using budgetary controls, and we will maintain our levels of debt at modest and sustainable levels. We remain resilient in our response to financial pressures. The General Fund revenue account continues to indicate a small underspend of £2,000 against budget. This reflects a small adverse movement of £11,000 from the reported month 5 position. As previously reported, we have absorbed an additional £2.6 million of cost in respect of the now agreed staff pay settlement. Once planned uses of earmarked reserves for items such as the continuing legacy COVID pressures, core inflation, and the older person's discount are recognised, we project a 23-24 year-end position on earmarked reserves of £14.1 million. In addition to this, we also have unallocated general balances amounting to £26.8 million, so in total we are projecting that just short of £41 million of reserves will be at our disposal at the end of the 23-24 financial year. As I have said in earlier reports, it's our objective to retain and build our reserves, notwithstanding the continuing challenging economic environment. We should expect a number of further transformation programmes, which are currently in the stages of development, to yield a strengthening of reserves, and these, of course, are not yet reported here. Our existing programme of savings for 23-24 is unchanged from the position previously reported, in that we will achieve our entire target of £22.8 million, albeit that there may be some delays in the delivery of items amounting to £242,000. General Fund capital expenditure for the financial year is now indicating an underspend within the year of £38.4 million, with an anticipated expenditure amounting to £124.2 million. This indicates for further slippage in month 6, which is largely due to constraints of capacity in the construction sector, which has caused further delays to the West Drayton and Useley Leisure Centre and HOAC projects. The vast majority of this expenditure is proposed to be rephased into next year and is as set out in the recommendation in Part B of this report. The dedicated schools grant also remains unchanged from the reported position at month 3. The housing revenue account continues to project a full-year outturn, which is identical to budget at this stage. However, housing revenue account capital expenditure for the year is projected at £83.9 million, which is an underspend against budget of £33.7 million, the vast majority of which is in respect of delays to the Hayes Regeneration Project, and again, a proposal to rephase these costs into later years is contained within Part B of the report. I therefore move recommendation 1 of the report as set out on page 86. Furthermore, page 111 sets out 8 financially orientated recommendations, itemised A to H. Of particular note are the recommendations A and B, which propose the rephasing of capital expenditure, as already explained, and also recommendation C, which deals with the proposed increases in leisure services fees and charges, as set out in detail on pages 113 to 116. All other recommendations are self-explanatory, albeit that I think there is further Office of Clarification required in respect to the precise locations of items 1 and items 4 in recommendation E, please. So I would be grateful if that can be addressed. I therefore move all recommendations A to H. Thank you, Councillor Bianco.
Thank you, Councillor Goddard. So the recommendations as discussed are on pages 86 and on page 111. Are those recommendations agreed? Agreed. Thank you. That takes us to agenda item 11, which is the public preview, matters to be considered later in private. This is an opportunity, well, firstly, there is an explanation of the non-financial aspects of these matters, and an opportunity for any Cabinet members to highlight any that they wish to do so. Councillor Lavery.
Thank you, Deputy Leader. I just wish to briefly highlight agenda item 12 in relation to the 2 golf courses we operate in the Borough at Uxbridge and Hayes Hill. The subsequent report is considering the disposal of these courses on a lease, but with a restrictive use clause that they must be operative golf courses. We have, and it has been in previous Cabinet papers, the golf offering in the Borough requires a substantial subsidy for what is a non-statutory service, and this will enable us golf to continue to be provided by contractors who are experienced in this market and remove the subsidy requirement from our residents. Thank you.
Thank you. On that basis, those items are noted, and that moves us to part 2. It's very exciting. We're still connected to the public. I'll say good night to everybody that is watching, and thank you for watching.